Okay, let's move on to question 3. So question 3 says, Rahim's favorite band is performing at an open-air arena. The seating plan of the arena is shown in Annex to B. Please make sure you go and find your Annex to B at the stage. Okay, there's Annex to B, so you should have that with you as you're working through this question. So it says, determine the total number of seats available in the middle block. Okay, so basically this area here. Oh, that was badly drawn, but anyways, okay, so this is like a bit irritating because you have to now go and count them, right? So there's many ways of doing this. Just be careful here. What students sometimes want to do is they want to say, okay, 32 minus 18 means that there's 14 in that that section, right, for the middle section for A. But let's actually count them. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Because actually, do you see that 18 is still included? When you say 32 minus 18, you're then excluding 18. So just be careful there. So it's not 14, it's 15. So you can do that. You can say 33 minus 18, but then always add 1, right? So it's going to be 15, 16, 35 minus 18 is 17, plus 1 is 18. So I'm literally just doing this across. Right, you can do it for each of them. 36, so that's going to be 19, that's going to be 21, that's going to be 22, that one's going to be 24, that one's going to be 25, and that one's going to be 26. Just rehash it again. 43 minus 18 is 25. Remember I said 18 is included, so you plus 1, and that's where 25 comes from. So then we just add all of these. Be careful for this question, because it's 3 marks, you have to show a little bit of working out. So you can't just add that all up and be like, oh, wonderful, that's the answer. You need to show that you've added all of those up. So let's just write here 3.1.1. So you then need to say, let's just write all these numbers correctly. It is total in middle block equals 15 plus 16. I'm just reading these off. Plus 18 plus 19 plus 21 plus 22 plus 24. You can't read my own handwriting. That's not good. Plus 26. Okay. Then gooi that in your calculator. 18 plus 19 plus 21 plus 22 plus 24 plus 25 plus 26. I hope I put that in all correctly. Perfect. It is 186 seats. Perfect. Right? So the first question, it's not too difficult. It's just more tedious than anything else, right? Let's go on to the next question. Oh, wait, that's not questions. Here's the question. Okay. Right, it says determine. Oh, no, it doesn't say determine. It says give. Give the compass directions from seat E12 towards the stage. So it's basically saying you sit in E12, and if you're looking at the stage, what direction are you looking at? So I'm going to do it this way because here's E12. So there's E, and then you here. Okay, oh, wow, I messed that up. That's E12. Okay, and then basically you're looking at the stage, so you're looking in that direction there. Okay, now importantly, look where north is, right? So there's north. Remember, we go clockwise. So north, east, south, west. Never eat silkworms, right? So you're kind of looking in that direction if I'm looking like that. So it's actually northwest. Okay, so it's very important that you maneuver your diagram so that you can actually make sure that you see what's going on. Also make sure that you know where north is pointing, because everyone assumes that north is this way, but sometimes it's, well, often actually it's not. Okay, so be careful there. So my answer there is northwest. You can write it out if you want, but they also accept if you just write NW. Rahim is seated exactly in the middle of a row in the middle block. The row he is seated in has an odd number, right, of seats and is furthest from the stage. So basically it's the furthest from the stage, but it also has an odd number. So there's like 2 conditions there. Name the row and seat number where he is seated. Okay, so he's in the middle block, so we know he's here. So let's just start with the furthest back. So here's the furthest back, okay, which is J. But do you see that it is an even number of seats? So we know that he's not in J. So he has to be in H. Okay, because it said that he's furthest back, but there's an odd number of seats. Okay, so 25, right? So he has to be in H, but we need to then find the middle seat of H, because remember, that's what it said here. It said he's seated exactly in the middle. Okay, so let's see the middle. How do you find the middle of 25? Well, you kind of divide it by 2, right? If you don't know what that is, when you divide it by 2, put in your calculator. I'm putting in the answer instead of 12.5, right? So then you round that up to 13. So you go like this. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so your answer there should be H30. Okay, H30. And that's how you need to do it. You could also count 13 from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So from either side, it doesn't matter. But the answer is H30. Okay. And you would get, I mean, that question there is out of 3 marks because they're wanting you to find all of these aspects, right? You have to be in the middle block. It has to be the second from the back, right? And it has to be the middle seat. So there's lots of sort of little pieces there. Okay. Then it says, Marley is seated at D14. She decides to go to the freshman stand, which is directly east of the lighting box. Okay, so let's not get this wrong. Okay, so here's the lighting box. Directly east means that it's here. Okay, so that's where the chow's at. Okay, that's where we're going. Okay, so then it says she decides to go to the freshman stand. Okay, cool. Give the directions for the route from her seat to the refreshment stand. So let's just check where this chick's sitting. Okay, so well, I'm presuming she's a lady. D14. Okay, let's go here. D14. Okay, we're over there, and she's going to the lighting. She's going over here. So she's going to go there. Then she's going to go up, and then she's going to go there. Okay, that's the route she's going to take. So we have to basically describe this. So we're going to say, okay, if we were Marley, because we'd be sitting this way, okay, what she would do is she would stand up, she would go to her left. Then when she gets here, she would turn left. She would go up the aisle, out of the exit. And then once she's out of the exit, she would turn right. And then she would get to the eating stand, right? Or what was the eating stand? The refreshment stand. Okay, so now you need to write that. Let's write that again. Okay, I mean, let's rerun through that. Okay, so she would exit her seat towards the left. Okay, that's the first thing. Then she would turn left in the aisle or into the aisle, right? So we got there, left, left, right? Then she has to walk to entrance exit 1. Okay, then once she gets there, right, at entrance, she should turn right, and the stand, or the refreshment stand will be in front of her. Okay, so you see there's 4 distinct things that you need to say there, and that's why it's 4 marks. Okay, so be very careful. These questions are not difficult, but students seem to struggle with like the left and right and maneuvering, etc. Because often what they'll say here is they'll say, oh, she should go to her right. Whereas remember, she's not going to be sitting in her seat. She's not going to be sitting facing that way in her seat. She's going to be sitting facing this way in her seat. Therefore, if she's sitting there, she needs to go to left. So again, move your diagram as you need to. Okay, let's do the last 2 questions here. 3.1.5. Okay, this highlight is driving me insane. Okay, determine the probability of randomly choosing a spectator to join the band on stage if 87.5, right, that's what that means, of the seats in the arena are occupied. Okay, how many seats are there? Okay, so there's 432. So we're going to say 432, and we're going to times that by 87.5%. That's the first thing we're going to do, right? Because that tells us how many seats are actually even available to pick from, right? The person, the singer or the performer is not going to pick an empty seat, right? That wouldn't make sense. Okay, they're going to pick from 378 seats. Now, what is the chance of, if you randomly seated somewhere in the audience, that you'll be chosen? Well, the chance is 1 over 378, because there's 378 different people that can be chosen, and you are just one of those people. Okay, and that would then be your answer. They didn't say whether they wanted it in a decimal or anything like that. They just said the probability, so you can leave it like that. If you want to put it into a percentage, you can do that, right? If you're like, oh, I don't know how to put it in a percentage, you go 1 over 378, and you can do this. I mean, press equal, and there's your decimal. Then you can times it by 100, and that would then be your percentage. So you can do either, but it doesn't say, so you can just leave it as a fraction. I wouldn't necessarily do more work than you have to. unless you like are an avid supporter of percentages. Okie dokes. Let's do the last question here. So it is predicted that it is most unlikely that it will rain on the night or the performance. Unlikely, hey? Choose one of the values below that will best describe this probability. Okay, 1 means that it definitely will happen, so we know it's not that. That's 50%. Okay, that's fairly likely, so we don't think it's that one. 0 definitely is not, because that means it won't happen at all, right? So it's not that it's unlikely, it's that it won't happen. That's 40%. So let's just change these into percentages to compare them. Okay, how do I do that? You say 1 divided by 2 times 100. That's where I got the 50 from. Do the same with 3 over 5. 3 divided by 5 times 100. And that's 60%. This one here is already a decimal, so you just times it by 100, and that's 80%, right? So it's not 50%, it's not 60%, it's not 40%, it's not 80%. That's what it means when it's most unlikely. 50% means even Stevens. 40% means it's unlikely, but not most unlikely. 80% actually means it's most likely. 60% means that it's got an above average chance of happening. So the only one that makes sense is 20%. Okay, so your answer there is 20%. You'll get 2 marks there for writing that out, and you are done. Okay, and then we can move on to the second half of this question. Okay, cheers.